Last night and the experience that I had, it showed me without a shadow of a doubt why men are done with women and relationships for the foreseeable future. In this video, I'm going to talk about what I witnessed from these women to back up what I'm about to say, and towards the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what the long-term consequences are in store for us men that might not be what you expect. Modern women have become emotionally expensive for men because too many of them, they no longer bring peace or softness or loyalty or modesty or cooperation into a man's life. Men aren't just avoiding relationships because they're lazy. They're not. It's not because they're lazy or bitter or damaged or corn addicted or afraid of commitment or have Peter Pan syndrome and are unwilling to grow up. It's because they've been through the ringer. They've seen enough modern women and experienced enough modern women to know that the cost is too high. The issue isn't that men hate women. The issue is that men are looking at what women have, what they've become, and they're asking themselves, what exactly am I supposed to be sacrificing my peace for? And last night, so I got invited by my friend to go to a get-together that their friend was having. And when we showed up, there were tons of people there. My friend and the one that was hosting were the only people that I knew. And I met there were men and women there. I met a few different women and had direct conversations with them. And then also I was around them while they were talking amongst themselves. What I observed and overheard from these women, it didn't shock me. It only further confirmed what I've seen and experienced and what you've seen and experienced from modern women. It confirmed why most men are choosing solitude over relationships. And I believe that these personal experiences that I have portrayed on my channel are accurately representing reality. They're not just one-offs. These women that I met, they represent the modern problems that men keep running into. They're loud, ideologically programmed. They have masculine energy. They lack softness and modesty. And their conversations are centered around feminist-coded language and constant posturing to prove they can occupy traditionally male spaces. We get it already, okay? You're strong and independent. You work and can pay your own bills. Congratulations, that makes you an adult. You're just an adult. There's nothing special about that. The first example that I have for you is it's a real doozy. It's a woman every man should stay away from. The single mom. No middle-aged get-together is complete without one. Now, this particular single mom, I would go as far as to say that she is the final boss of single moms. And I'll show you why here in a few minutes. But before I do, let me just lay the groundwork. Are you sitting down? Because this will knock you straight on your ass. She has 12 kids. That's right. You heard me correctly. She has 12 kids. And she recently separated from her husband. But that's not all. No. There's more. There's always more. While most of these kids are her biological kids, some are adopted. And one of them is still in the process of being adopted. And the majority of her kids, especially the adopted ones, are boys. I'm talking preschool and elementary age. All in their formidable years, the foundation of who they are to become as adults is being formed right now. And all I could think was, man, it's gotta be rough for these kids, especially the boys. And you think it couldn't get any worse, but it does. Oh, it gets way worse. It gets way worse. So today I got a text from my friend mentioning something about that woman that they had just found out from their friend who hosted the event. And boy, howdy, it tips the scale. Here's what they told me. The single mom, in her free time, she attends adult parties. That's why I said she's the final boss. We have a single mom with 12 kids, some of them adopted, that attends adult parties, doing God knows what. And all I can think about is, how the hell is she legally able to adopt those kids while having that kind of lifestyle? And I believe this woman is older than me. I think she's in her mid 40s or early 50s. And this is a hot take, but in my opinion, I don't think it's a hot take, but it is for a lot of people. In my opinion, that's not the kind of environment that children should be adopted into. Children need a mom and a dad that aren't into weird shit. Okay? I believe that children should only be adopted into, I don't think they should be adopted into single mom households. Horrible outcomes. I think it should be based on the outcomes, and the best outcomes are either from a mom and a dad, or or just a dad, just a dude. And let me know your thoughts on that one, because I have a lot more thoughts, but I want to keep it moving. So, her aside, the next woman I met, not final boss material, but still noteworthy. She's your classic middle-aged feminist, right? With no kids, who was obsessed with my dog. No shocker there. I brought my dog. He's still a puppy. I got to bring him. But it goes to show that when women don't have babies, they'll turn something into one. But it was very convenient for me, though. She practically babysat my dog half the time, so I didn't have to. It was great. So she was somewhat useful. However, it's sad. It's sad that these women will do that for a dog. But if someone brings a baby, like a cute baby or a toddler, they couldn't care less for the most part. I've noticed that a lot. I've noticed, especially since I got my puppy, so many women approach me just gushing over my dog. A woman scared the crap out of me yesterday, running by me, being like, "Oh my God, that's the cutest dog I've ever seen." But not once, when my son was an adorable toddler and we were out in public, did a woman ever do that. Ever. It's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times. Women just don't care about children. They want to turn other things into babies. It's weird. But back to the story. So I was sitting within proximity of her, this classic feminist with no children, while she was petting my dog and talking to another woman there. And I overheard her talking about women-owned businesses and women in the trades, pretty cringe stuff. Automatically, I wanted to gouge my eyes out and just head for the hills. It was just the tone and obsession she had about it. None of it sounded organic. It sounded programmed, because it is. It's your classic feminist programming at work. Her tone was more about proving a point against men. These women are rubbing salt in the wound by celebrating their invasion of male spaces, right? Their invasion of male spaces, competing with men, replacing men, and expecting men to acquiesce and cower before them. I mean, you hear this all the time from those boss babes, those types. They say, "Oh, he's just intimidated by me. He's just intimidated." No, lady. No, he's not. He's turned off by you. We are turned off by you. You're acting like a dude. And we like women who act like women. That's why we love women, because they're not a dude. But those women are nowhere to be found anymore. They've all gone extinct. Especially at that shindig I was at. Not a one in sight. when men are reacting to this the way that I am, it's not just the snarky independence, but the disappearance of feminine presence. Just as architecture has declined over the centuries, so have women. The ethereal beauty of Gothic or Byzantine architecture also once existed within women. But now, the presence of modern women, it's the equivalent to the J. Edgar Hoover building. You get me? I understand a small sample size doesn't prove everything. That's not lost on me. But when the small sample looks exactly like the larger pattern men have been talking about for years and years and years, it confirms something. The only ethereal beauty that ever comes close to those Gothic sanctuaries is solitude. Now, earlier in the video, I said there was a long-term consequence for men in all of this, and it might not be what you expect. The obvious consequence is that men are going to stay single. That part is easy to see. More men are going to avoid dating, avoid marriage, and avoid the slow death of living with a woman who makes his home feel like a battlefield. But that isn't the deeper consequence. The deeper consequence is that men are going to live with an unending grief and longing for beauty they will never experience. And I don't mean the cheap version of beauty modern culture sells us. That's not beauty. I'm talking about the kind of beauty that makes the experience of life feel whole. The kind of beauty men before us were not deprived of like we are. The kind of beauty that gave a man something outside himself to suffer for, build for, fight for, and return home to. The beauty of a feminine woman who makes a man understand why other men cross oceans, build mausoleums and castles, fought wars, endured brutal work, and kept going, even when their bodies were tired and their spirits were almost gone. A woman worth going to war for, because she was worthy. There was something in her that made a man believe his strength had a sacred assignment. There was a time when a man could leave for battle and know there was a woman at home who would wait for him. She would be there when he got back and dress his wounds, tend to him, feed him, make love to him. She had an interior beauty, an inner beauty that he experienced through her eyes and her soft voice and her touch. That woman is no longer. And we're all grieving that reality. And will until the end.